Today's video is about time of day. The time of day is very important. As you see in the mornings, you see a lot of elderly. They get up early, 6 a.m. typically, and go about their day. And I used to think, man, that's way too early. I'm sleepy and all this kind of stuff. I want to sleep in, till 10 or something like that. And I just thought waking up so that early is just boring, and going to sleep at 6, 7, 8 p.m. is way too early and boring. And I'm just like, I don't understand them, it's like maybe they just wake up early because, they're old and, they don't like to sleep too long, because, they say sleep is a cousin of death or whatever. But yeah, so the time of day, it greatly affects your mood. Yeah? And then you have the opposite end of the spectrum. You have people who wake up really late, partiers, sometimes college students or whoever. They stay up really late. They wake up late, 2, 12, 2, 3 p.m. or even 4 or 5 p.m. And they stay up until 4 or 5, 6 p.m. almost every day. And it's up, especially if you have a job or whatever, that's, you need to do what you need to do. There's nothing wrong with one time, night versus day or anything like that. But, those partiers, they party, they stay up late and all that stuff. And that's what we're actually taught by Hollywood and movies and social media, is that, hey, the way you have fun, you want to have fun. It's about going to bars, it's about drinking, it's about partying, staying late, And I understand it in one aspect. The one aspect I do understand being up late provides is everybody's off of work usually. So then people can meet up at night to do things like hang out at a lounge or do something like some kind of social or get together or dancing or something like that. So I can understand why it's late, because usually people are off of work by then, most people. That part I understand, but the part that is glorified, the negative part that is glorified is, drinking too much, getting wasted, doing drugs, staying out late, being around, and the worst of it all is being around a bad crowd. Nowadays it's not even just not having a good time, right? Because if you go there and you don't have a good time, then, that's not good. And that can be it can be like that, because a lot of people, they do go out late and they don't have a good time. They're looking for something, usually someone of the opposite sex, or, even if they're with just their friends and they just want to dance and have a good time. But there's some people who are like that. They don't need anything. They should have a good time. And then there's some people that are going to meet somebody, hopefully. In hopes of that. That's what's sold to us, right? Because we've lost our social spaces in America to meet somebody up at night. Where is there to go? You either go to the bar, you go to the club, or, it's a box store, a Walmart. There's hardly any, shared spaces or social spaces or common spaces where people go about their daily lives, where you can just hang out, and socialize. In big cities, they just don't exist, between the skyscrapers and, the big roads and all that. And if there is a social space, it can be very small, very small. It can be far away for people on the other side of town. They're not going to go to that, so that's why people feel lonely. So again, this ties into the topic of time affects your mood, time of day affects your mood, because if you're trying to socialize, a lot of people end up going out in the evenings and in the nighttime, and you get very tired. But if you go out in the mornings and all that, there's no social space because people are usually elderly or whoever, or families or just anybody. They're going to work. Or they're just shopping, whatever, and they're going back home. People are going to work. They're going somewhere in the morning. So usually they're not sticking around unless they're like a student or something and they're like studying somewhere, during the day. People aren't hanging out during the day, during the weekdays that much because they have to be at work usually. So then that's why a lot of people don't go out at that time, which makes sense. But that is the best time, in my opinion, to be out, to socialize, because whether people like to admit it or not, when you wake up early, you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m., but even if you wake up at 8 a.m., 7 or 8 a.m., everyone's sweet spot might be different. It could be 5, it could be 6 a.m., it could be 7, it could be 8, it could be 9. Like, I would like to wake up at like 7:30 a.m. or 7 or 8. 7. I think 7 is good. 6 or 7. And then when you go outside and you go, places, people's moods are instantly better. They just, slept, they woke up, they're fresh. They usually ate breakfast. If they ate breakfast, they ate. So everybody's mood is better. The sun is shining and it's nice and bright, and you still have the whole day ahead of you. So when you start to have ideas, you want to do things, and you have the time to go do it, because you're winding up. You don't have to wind down yet, So the older I get, the more I appreciate that people's moods are better. You start to have a better outlook in life. If you're hanging out late, and I'm not saying there's not a time and place for it, that to never do it, but usually when you're hanging out late, you're tired, you're worn out, you're off of work, you could be hungry, you could be feeling lonely or desperate, and you have to sleep at some time, so you're going out late, and there's also bad crowds that could be out. If you're in the wrong areas, there can be bad crowds, there can be danger and all that kind of stuff, even when you're getting from your car to the social place or vice versa, or, however you commute. You have all these other stresses on your mind. So it's more of like a negative atmosphere, because kind of people are trying to like turn up and have fun, but kind of like at night, people can also be more heartless, like at night, people can be more heartless, more competitive with each other, more just a lot of the negative feelings can come out at night, like it's like a dog eat dog world. In the Bible, God says heaven will be all daylight. There will be no nighttime. And at first I'm like, that sounds crazy, so you're supposed to sleep and the sun is like shining, that sounds crazy, but maybe you won't even have to sleep, I don't know. But I understand that, because the darkness, it can bring about negative feelings and stuff. So even when you just break it down to just something as simple as people's moods, it can give you a negative or positive outlook on life. If you're going out late and you're always out late, and people are in negative moods and stuff like that, you can view the world like as a negative place. And then, but if you're always out during that time, it's kind of like your environment, like who you're around, but also what time you're around. You can go to Walmart at night and it's like, man, it's kind of sketchy. Or you can go to Walmart right in the morning and, it's peaceful, So the morning and like the daytime and all that, it really, is uplifting the people and all that. I just feel like the older I get, the more I like to be around more positive people and all that. There's so much negativity and people that have like, I guess bad outlooks or whatever, but it's just like you have to really, when you're in those kind of environments, you really have to like protect yourself, right? So then like when you go out during the day in the morning and all that kind of stuff, it's a lot better because a lot of the riffraff and all that stuff, they're still sleeping. A lot of the troublemakers and all that, they're still sleeping, So the time of day is kind of like your environment too. So when you're out in the morning and all that, I've learned to try that. And, even though it's like hard to wake up at first, but the more I do that, the more it's like a game changer for me because I have a more positive, when you run into people or interact with people and socialize and all that stuff, and everybody's in a good mood, you start to view the world as a better place. Your mood improves and all that stuff. So that's the short point of this video. Is that if you're feeling down, if you're at work and you have to work during the weekdays, you can't be out during those morning times. You'll know though, when you have a day off or when it's the weekend and you're out early in the morning, it feels so good. It feels really good. And I think we should be spending more of our time in those early hours. Like if you're, like when you get out and you go to the park and you go run or something like that early in the morning, and the other people that you're around, they're like, more the go-getter crowd. It's like the crowd. You're around when you're awake early. It's a different crowd. It's like the go-getter crowd. It's like the motivated kind of crowd of people too that are awake early, doing things. So that's the crowd I want to be around. Like being up at like 1, 2, 3 a.m. as like a lifestyle for birthday parties and all that stuff, or whatever parties you want for your friends. That's okay, but like if it's like a lifestyle, I would prefer morning. Because then you're away from a lot of the bad people and you're more around the good people just by, waking up early. And I'd rather live my life like that. So, excuse me, I hope this video helps. And and I hope this video helps and so you're aware of that the time of day affects your mood, and it can really affect your life and change it for the better by waking up early and all that. You can even network and meet the right people and all this kind of stuff just by waking up early when you will not see them, like late at night, like at, somewhere or wherever. But, yep, that's how it ties into socialization. I hope this video helps. Thanks, everybody.